I'm going crazy. 무뎌져.
The rays of the sun coming from the office window were reflecting over his face, making his features look more bold and sharp. He was sitting on his chair looking at the documents in front of him. He was looking at documents, but his mind was somewhere, thinking that he would be able to become a father or not. Yes, a father. He was married, but his wife can't give him a child because of infertility. The reason for this marriage was an heir to his throne. He didn't love her, that's true, and neither did she. That's what he thought. Leaning his back on the chair, he closed his eyes, thinking what to do now, until he heard a knock on his office door. Come in. Saying this, he sat straight. The door opened and his wife entered. He was about to speak, but then he saw a girl behind his wife, standing while looking down. His eyes stopped just there, never even blinking. Her face was so innocent and her eyes were only looking down that raised a words inside him to make her look at him and looked in her eyes. Hearing his wife's clear voice, his eyes shifted to her. John, I'm not here to waste your time, but to talk about something important. She said because she knew if she said something that is not beneficial for him, he will be angry as hell. Then say it. She gestured at girl to stand beside her. She slowly walked and stood ahead while playing with her fingers. She is Ryan, Yara gulped. She is going to give you an hair. Jungkookff looked at her with a raised eyebrow, not knowing the sudden intentions of his wife. The only way I was able to find was this. He leaned on his chair, looking at you from top to bottom. So you are saying that she is going to be my mistress, he said, and you jerked your head up, looking at him. He finally saw your eyes and his heart skipped a beat. Your eyes were screaming innocence but painful, and sorrow was visible in them. He thought, why would a girl like you, who can have a good man to marry, has to come here to become his mistress because you don't look like a woman to go inside a man's pants? The reason she accepted it, he asked, knowing that you hold some dreams in your eyes that are shattered now. She needs money for her mother's treatment. She has cancer. Now he knew. So you are doing it for your mother, sacrificing yourself, Jungkookff thought, until 5 minutes, and then sighing he nodded. Okay, show her the room and everything. Yara nodded, not speaking much. She gestured to you to go with her, and you did. The office door got closed and he leaned on his chair, closing his eyes back, but his eyes shut open when he saw your face after closing his eyes. Caressing his face with his hands, he picked up a glass of water to drink. Looking at the glass, he chuckled, my mistress. At night, Jungkookff opened his bedroom door in his attire and was tired of full day work. He entered his room, but as he looked up, he saw you, your appetite figure, sitting on his bed. Your knees were up to your chest in a sitting position, while your back was leaning with headboard. Your eyes were closed. It looked like you were asleep. His eyes traveled from your face to down your figure. You were wearing a blue silk sleeveless nightgown, which was showing half of your. Its length was long to cover your legs, but they were not helping it to show it, not revealing. He felt his heart beating fast, but he was stopping the urge to just grab your neck and fill you with his lust. He walked to you, sitting just beside you. His hand glided up to your hairs, over your side face. He placed them behind your ear. Your breath touched his hand. He closely saw your features. His hand caressed your face, and you moved to your place and slowly opened your eyes, but you gasped when you saw him sitting just in front of you. His hand moved back and was placed on the bed sheet. Have you eaten dinner? He asked with a calm tone. You got confused with the sudden question, but shook your head as no. Bring dinner for me and for you too. Saying this, he got up and entered the bathroom. You were sitting there dumbfounded, because his wife left you in his room, telling you that's what you were brought here for. You got up and went to bring the dinner, as he said, because he also told you to obey him whatever he said. Coming back with the tray in your hands, you witnessed him in a bathrobe. His chest was on display because half of the robe was open. He was sitting on the bed with his phone, but then he saw you. Will you be standing there? He asked. You shook your head and placed the tray in front of him. Sit and eat. He ordered and you sat there. He saw you didn't move to eat anything. Looking up, he saw you look down on your thoughts. Why are you behaving like a robot? He asked, getting irritated. His tone was harsh. Don't you love your wife? He froze after hearing your words. The first time you said something, and these words? Why did you ask that? He chuckled. Yeah, why do I need to ask that? I don't have any right. Gulping a big lump, you stopped, tears in your eyes. You didn't want your life to go like this. He pushed the tray in front of him. You thought he got angry at your behavior, but he scoted forward to you. Yes, I don't love her. So, am I a bad husband? I gave her everything that she needed. Money, branded clothes, servants, a beautiful home, and a physical relation too. I only asked her one thing, to give me an heir for my future throne. Tears fell from your eyes thinking what type of game life play. Here you are who need money and love is already in your life, in your mother's existence. And him, he has money but no love. And the true meaning of life? You don't have any rights to talk between husband and wife, but I'll just say that you will always not have everything you want. Sometimes it's just written in your destiny to not having it, and sometimes you have to sacrifice one thing to achieve another one. What you said made him think that he was always wrong or just now, but one thing he's assured of, and that's you're going to make a big change in his life if he stayed this close to you. Next day, a servant came to you calling that Mr. Jones wanted to see you in his room. You were confused as to why in the early morning he wanted to see you. Last night he just sent you back to your room after dinner, but you just shrugged and went to his room. You stepped inside his room but didn't find him there until you heard his voice. In the dressing room, he said. You walked to his dressing room. He was standing in front of a mirror wearing his pants and shirt. His coat was placed aside. You stood in front of him. You called me? He said he turned to see you in front of him while wearing a light blue color long frock. Is blue your favorite color? He thought. But then clearing his throat, he picked his tie up and handed it to you. Make me wear it. You looked at him and then the tie. Getting it from his hands, you looked up at him. Do it, I'm getting late, he said, and you quickly rounded it on his neck, starting making it, but a question came inside your mind and you thought to ask him, doesn't your wife tie it? But you felt his arm circling your vest. You gasped as he tightly gripped your vest and your hand fell on his chest. Gulping, you again started to make the tie. While he was staring at you, your face was whole red now. His hand started to caress your vest in slow motion, making you feel shivers and butterflies in your stomach. No, first time a woman is tying my tie. His words gave you chills like current. Done, you said while stuttering because of his touch. His finger trailed to your face. Placing his fingers under your chin, he came close to your face and pecked your lips. You were shocked and froze on your place. The peck was just off for a few seconds, but his lips were so soft and sweet. I'll go now. Saying this, he left. You stand there dumbfounded. You cup your red, hot face. Am I okay? You asked from yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror. A sudden thought came up in your mind about what if he falls in love or learn how to love. Will he be able to improve himself? But he only needs to improve his thinking capabilities about relations. In the evening, you were standing in the kitchen cooking some dishes. Even servants stopped you, but you insisted and started cooking. Ella, can you pass me salt? You asked the maid named Ella, who was standing in the kitchen with you. A hand came forward from behind to give you a salt container. You held it. Thanks, he said without looking back, but he flinched suddenly, feeling arms around your vest. It's me. Hearing his voice, you calmed down, but again you questioned why you felt relaxed after he hugged you from behind. His breath hit your neck and you felt goosebumps. Did you have dinner? He didn't say anything for some seconds, only smelling your scent by sniffing your hair and neck. He was getting obsessed with your scent. It was making him feel relaxed after a hectic day. What is this feeling? He thought about it. Why am I behaving like this? I never did these things with Yara. Never wanted to know how she smelled, what she cooked or not. I don't even know if she knows how to cook. But with Vian, why I want to know more about her doing and her personality. All thoughts were roaming inside his mind. That food is ready, he said, getting him out of his thoughts. His grip loosened, but just to turn you to face him. Cupping your neck, he placed his lips over you, your eyes widen. He didn't close his eyes, but he was just staring in your eyes, while his lips were resting on your lips. In seconds, he wasn't able to control the feeling of your rosy lips and started to kiss you. His eyes slowly closed while your eyes were still open because the person standing behind was watching you both. Tears slipped from her eyes and she left from there. You felt guilty. He stopped you because you didn't kiss him back. Looking at you, he cupped your face and pecked your forehead. You are feeling different emotions. You wanted to cry so hard because of confusion. It's okay if you don't feel comfortable. I will not see you again without your permission. Let's eat dinner now. I'm hungry, he said, but he was confused about himself too. The only thing he was hearing inside him was, sometimes the perfect person for you is who you least expect it to be. And before I knew it, before I was even aware of it, I was falling in love with you. After eating dinner, you were standing on the balcony having fresh air. The air was cold, but it was helping you out to feel good. Suddenly you felt warmth when a long piece of fabric was placed over your shoulders. You turned your face and saw him with 2 cups of hot chocolate. He forwarded one to you. You held it and stood beside you, looking in front. Drink it, he said while getting excited because he never made something for anyone. But today he felt an urge to make it for himself and someone else too. And you came to his mind first. You took a sip of it. It was too hot. You hissed in pain on your lips and tongue. Are you mad? Drink it slowly. It's hot. His finger cupped your chin and he started to blow air on your lips. You looked at him, feeling strange, and a question slipped from your mouth. What if it was Yara, not me? He stopped and looked at you. His grip tightened on the cup. Licking his lips, he turned to the other side. It's not like I haven't tried. I have, but I can't force myself into the things I don't want genuinely. Saying this, he left. He ran away again. Whenever you ask him why he ran away, like he's scared of you, if you ask him something that he will not be able to hide. So is this running or hiding? After a week, as it's been a week, and Jack will never kiss you again, as he said that day, but he does sweet gestures with you, like back hugging, pecking your forehead and sleeping in your lap, asking you to caress his hair, asking you to cook for him. He was changing. Even the servants noticed it. His behavior was getting soft, not short-tempered like before. You were happy about it, but somewhere you felt guilty about Yara. What if she loved him? Then is this okay for you to be close to him? Not for a single purpose, but from the depth of your heart. Like always, life is again playing a game of confusion of feelings. Vayan, you heard his voice calling you in the dressing room. You went there, and as usual, tying his tie. He gripped your vest, but placed his face on your shoulder. You were having difficulty in tying. Jungkookff, let me do it. Some days ago, he told you to call him by his name, and you are the only person at home who calls him by his name. You told him to stand straight, but he shook his head. You placed your hand on his shoulders. Are you okay? You asked him, just having a feel to ask him. I have something to confess. He sat with his head in your neck. Your breath got heavy when he pecked your neck. But I don't know if I should say it or not. Should I share it with you or not? But okay, I'll tell you. He stood up straight, but with a pout. You blinked your eyes, not understanding. Listen, last night you saw me drinking banana milk, and you know I love drinking it, so don't you dare to tell it to anyone at home. He said you wanted to laugh. Here you were being all serious, and he's talking about banana milk. What if I tell everyone at home? You asked with a habit of asking questions, but regretted it when he pushed you on the couch in the dressing room and hovered above you. Looking inside your eyes sharply, he leaned on your neck. His lips were on your skin, sucking it and licking it. You threw your head back at the sudden sensation, your fingers going inside his hair. He finally pecked that place. He was sucking and looked at you. I will do more than this. Your eyes widened when you realized he gave you a... You touched it with your fingers, feeling a sting pain. He suddenly giggled at your face. You naughty girl, you are literally imagining more. I didn't expect that from you. He said, making you blush like hell, like how he read you so openly. He came close to your ear and whispered, but if you really want more, you can just tell me. Saying this, he pecked your forehead and left from there. You sat up and looked in the mirror. Why didn't I push him? Why did I feel good? Is this what they call love? After a month, now you are fully assured with your feelings, but afraid to say them loud because of Yara. Whatever he says and does only to you and for you, but still, she is his legal wife. You are not a homewrecker either. Why would you do it? So you just decided to keep your feelings inside as much as you can, but this man's action make you think the opposite. You were going inside his office but stopped hearing Oh, so you made your decision. Her voice felt bitter but calm. Yes, and it's final. Divorce papers are already here, and you just need to sign them. His voice was harsh, but not loud, just opposite of how he talks to you. You felt bad for Yara. It was silent for 2 minutes. Here, I signed them. I hope you complete your promise of not hurting her. After this, you felt her footstep coming out. She stopped when she saw you. She plastered a small sad smile on her face and patted your shoulder. Not everyone is lucky like you. Stay happy and take care of him. You were about to say, but she left. You were just staring at her back until she left the house. You entered his office. As he looked up to see you, a big smile appeared on his face. He came towards you, hugging you tightly. Finally, I'm free to express my feelings, he said and pecked your cheeks and forehead. You both divorced? He nodded quickly, smiling. He was happy. What about Yara? His smile dropped. He became serious, brushing the back of his hand on your cheek. His fingers went inside your hairs, placing them back from your shoulder. She went to Paris, back from where she came. Our father forcefully married us, but now she is free to live her dream of becoming a fashion designer. She just said that she wasn't able to become a good wife. Neither I was a perfect one for her. He looked down feeling sad, but she will soon get the right one for her. She's a good woman. You didn't know he was forced to marry her and all this, but now you feel good about Yara too. That's good, you said, but he cupped your chin, rubbing your lips with his thumb. He gulped. May I? He asked. You bite your lip and nodded. He felt so happy picking you up. You circled your arms around his neck, tipping the I swear if I didn't want to confess perfectly, I would have made you mine now and here. His words make you feel shy. After a year, sitting at the headboard of the bed, he was sitting with you on his lap, your head on his chest. Your both bare bodies were covered in the ward around you and him. He was caressing your hairs while you were making random circles on his chest. How it feels to be married again, but this time with your love. You asked your husband who pecked your hand and smiled. This feeling is just opposite of before and overwhelming that I can't pour out it in words. But I just wanted to say that I didn't fall in love with you, but I walked into love with you, with my eyes wide open, choosing to take every step along the way. I do believe in fate and destiny, but I also believe that we are only fated to do the things that we had chosen anyway. And every time I had chose you, in 100 lifetimes, in 100 worlds, in any version of reality, I had find you and choose you. He pecked his chest, hearing his beautiful confession that he does almost every day with different words. And every time I'll wait for you and again fall in love with you and spend my whole life with you. He cupped your cheeks, placing his lips over yours. He suddenly whispered something between, making you feel more overwhelmed. We are going to make a little version of us now. Saying this, he laid you back on the bed, starting loving you, letting the world know whom you belong to.
화가 났잖아. 화가 난 상태에서는 이미 이성을